Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we're going to show you the first episode of the Pushrod build. As you all know, we're building a very fast Volvo 850 for time attack in racing, and we're going to utilize a Pushrod system with our Erlins dampers in the rear. So in the first few minutes of the film we're going to go in a small deep down into our bump steer adjustments and roll center adjustments on the rear of the car. And later on, we're going to show you all the fabrication we're doing to install the pushrod system in the car. And then later, we're going to show you all the pushrod assemblies as we put them all together. So I hope you enjoy this one. And without further ado, let's get into it. Yes, so we have also some new parts for the chassis. So these ones are, this is going to be a bracket for the center part of the pushrod suspension. So this is going to host the ends of the suspension. I'm going to show you real quick. So it is going to be like this. It's going to be more neatly done than this, because this was only done just before the custom motor show. This is a kinematic change we're doing to the upper control arm with the camber arm. So we're going to move the camber arm in, and so it's this way, so in and down a couple of millimeters. This is going to give us more camber gain, which we want, and also a lower roll center. So this is going to be like, that's the OEM mounting point from the upper inner joint from the camber arm, and then we're going to move it about 10 millimeters in and 3 or 4 millimeters down. And that's the new hole you see. So we're going to use the big one just to have the correct position of everything. And then we're going to drill a new one. This is a toe arm. We're going to do exactly the same thing here. But instead of having just an extra moving the attachment point, we're going to do some brackets. So I'm going to show you the brackets. So these are what it's supposed to be. Hold on, let me get a pen. So here we have everything. So this is the original attachment point from the inner toe link in the suspension, and then we're going to move the hole to about here instead. So we're going to have a bracket that's about this, and then we're going to have interchangeable brackets with different height of this attachment point. So maybe if we have like a 0, this is in the middle. This is on our toe arm. So if we alternate this hole and with a different bracket, maybe put it about here, then we're going to have another bump steer. And if we have it down here, we're going to have a positive or a negative bump steer. So we have calculated and done some simulation and showed that if we have it about here, this will be a neutral bump steer. So we're going to have this neutral as a standard on the car, and then we can go up and down depending on how much oversteer or understeer we want from the toe angle itself. So in a front wheel driven car, you need to have the car to rotate. It cannot be an understeer car, because that will be very bad. So by using the rear suspension as a rotation point, usually in a standard car, you have, when the car is compressing, you have like full compression on the car, you'll have a slight toe in, because that has this stabilizing effect on the car. We don't want that. We want that, but we want to be able to use that as a balance point. Also, if we want to have more rotation in the car, we can simply just use another shim, move the toe link up and down, and then we can see if we have more or less bump steer in the rear, and also make the car have more rotation. So there's a difference between having a static toe, which is the one you have when you do like a wheel alignment, and then you have your active toe, which is your bump steer coefficients. So by being able to switch on an over and understeer car, we can help the car rotate on a really twisty track. That's going to help us a lot, I think. It's been a while since I TIG welded, so we'll see how this goes. We're gonna TIG weld this bracket together. It's the center point of the Pushrod suspension, where the two dampers meet in the middle. It's gonna be TIG welded all together. Maybe I'll have to do some sort of reinforcement in the middle here, or maybe some sides later on, but we have to put it on the car first to see what happens. So let's weld this up together, see what's happening. That was not my best. Certainly not my worst, but yeah. I think it will do the job. Hopefully. So in order to lock these in place, we have like half of the piston, so we can have them in right height. We need to make some sort of tool so we can hold them together. So I've done this before. This is just a very quick one I did. It's one side is for max compression and the other one is for right height. So we're gonna make one more of these and then just put them here. So we can put one on each side, and then we can put the piston in, because it's the gas pressure on these ones is very strong, so I can't hold them myself. So I need to have them locked in place, then I can put them back in the car and see where everything fits.
As you probably can tell, it didn't really work out the way it was supposed to. The reason being that the middle part of both the suspension compression holders, whatever you want to call them, they touch together in the middle, which means I can't lift them up on the sides. So instead of using these, I did a 40x40 beam that goes over both of the dampers, and then we fix each damper on the side that they attach to the rocker arm with a flat piece of steel coming down from top.
now this bracket is done, I've prepared some more stuff we're gonna look at. So it's been a while, but these are the new rockers that have been made. So these are 3 millimeters of steel. This is a 355 construction steel. Been laser cutted out of the preferences, and then I've machined a middle section that these bearings are going to fit in. So these are two-way bearing. They have a thrust bearing on the side and also a roller bearing in the center section, which is going to pivot around. We choose a thrust combined bearing with thrust bearing on the side because we're going to have some out of plane forces, which is going to oh, sorry for the sound. Which is going to also put a side load on the rocker itself due to the suspension. Show you here. So the suspension is moving, it's pivoting around this section, which means that the center of the wheel is going to go forward a small bit. But just to be sure that everything doesn't move and everything stays centered, we're using a bearing that has a thrust side. So the bearing is an 25 millimeter SKF SX 25 extra load something. I think it's over a bit over engineered, but we want to be on the safe side, so we choose to go up a bit instead. So I've done a small jig to show you how how it's going to look in the car before I put it in the car, and you can also see the attachment to that. These are the small ones on the here. These holes are for the anti-roll bar. So I'm just going to put this together with all the bearings inside of the rocker arm. I'm going to put it here, put the damper on and the pushrod, and also you can see how the anti-roll bar connects and how I can't really move it because I have the spring on, but I can show you how it's going to look before it been put into the car. And that's going to be, we're going to put it into the car now, but it's going to take a while because it's going to need a lot of measuring to do. So yeah, I'm going to just put this together. So now everything is set up. This is the complete assembly of the rear pushrod suspension. So we have our rocker itself, which we have calculated so the geometry of these two are in the way it should be. And we also spend a lot of money, a lot of thought in how this anti-roll bar system should work. So this is just a mock-up, but you see how it's I can put you in the other way here. So it's in the rocker itself. So while this moves up and down, this is going to go up and down, and it's going to pivot on this one. And then we have the anti-roll bar itself. It's going to be a very short one. It's going to sit on the rear suspension itself, and we are going to be able to change level of anti-roll bar with like 5 or 6 steps. And if that's not enough, we're going to be able to just undo these 2 screws, take out the anti-roll bar itself, and we're going to make like 3 or 4 different thicknesses. I have some old race car stuff here. So this is old touring car stuff. A lot of front and rear anti-roll bars in different size, shapes and sizes. We also have they all are the same endings, so we can make these endings, and we can just we can cut them off, and we can also shorten them, lengthen them. So we're going to use some of them is going to be front, and some of them are going to be rear. Like this one is a X Sign Racing, I think, rear suspension, rear anti-roll bar. But it's a lot of different stuff. So we're going to use those, and so this is just a mock-up version of the axle we're going to use. I have this 25mm polished axle that we're going to use. So we're going to tap into the side of these one and put some threads, so we can use these ones to hold it in place. I'm going to show you this very specific when it's in place in the car then. And we also have these ones, which is a tube that I machined out on the inside, which also matches thickness. The thickness of the tube matches the bearing surface here. So this is where the thrust bearing meets the material, and that's what pushes the bearings together. So I'm looking forward to put this one in the car now. It's been a long journey. So we have our jig. So we use these ones to put the rocker itself where it should be. Then we have the length of the damper as a reference point, which is going to be between here. And we also have the rocker arm, which is this mock-up rocker arm. Now we're going to change that to the specific one we have, which is the correct length. We also need to do another pushrod assembly down here. So we're going to make new brackets down here, sturdier ones and more aligned with what we're doing. And I think that's about it. So, well, I think we're going to end this one here. Next one is going to be installing the leads dampers and our pushrod and everything, welding the rockers and the pivot point that we don't have at the moment in our car. And until then, I'll see you later. And yeah, you know what to do. Thumbs up. Bye-bye.